everybody, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching. I want to make a little bit different of a video that, besides a repair video, it's more about how I go about, I guess, selling things, and mostly I want to focus on trades. I want to show y'all how far trades can potentially get you. Hopefully this is one instance where I trade. We'll see. But what instance I'm going to talk about is, even if it's just one trade that I do here, I'm showing you the importance of a trade. So here's the first one that I want to talk about. So I bought a Craftsman LT 3000 riding mower for 100 bucks. It needed a deck and needed some brake work. And I don't know how well y'all can see this on the phone. I was going to show it to you, and I wasn't expecting to sell it today. I thought I was going to still have it in my possession, but that was that, right? So I guess I'm trying to be transparent. So I put a deck that I had here onto the mower and fixed the brakes. This is C's brakes like it is on almost all 6-speed Craftsman transaxles. Put a couple dust covers on it, cleaned it up, made it look nice. Listed it for $625, and got a hit on it from a guy not too far from here who wanted to trade that, or trade another Craftsman riding mower and a Murray push mower, which I'm about to show you. So I took the Craftsman rider. I had a Boland's big wheel push mower I had listed for $80. I told him that I'd do $70 on it. So I had $625 plus $70. For all intents and purposes, about $700 worth of stuff that I took over there. And I'm about to show you what I got. I got $450 cash plus a push mower, which isn't very old, and a Craftsman rider, which looks bad, but it's really not. It's just really, really dirty. So you have to sometimes see through the dirt. So think about it. You're like, oh my gosh, you took $250 off for what you're about to see? Well, yeah. And I took it to him. Military man, super nice guy. I take that into account. You got to take the person into account sometimes. This guy served our country. You know, you can give him a little bit of grace if you've got some. So I didn't have any issues. The mower runs, it drives, and as far as I know, it cuts. It was used last season. Got to do a little bit of work to it, but think about it. I bought it for $100. I may have $20 worth of transport charges with it. I didn't put any money into it because it was already serviced. Middle of last year, so everything looked great on it. So I'm already, well, if you take into account the push mower, I'm pretty much $275 to $300 in the pocket already. And now, let me show you what I have, and we'll see how far this takes us. Like I said, I'm trying to be transparent and help y'all out as much as possible. So I'll have to show you the push mower. It's in the back of the truck. I put a variety of push mowers in there just because we hadn't decided on one. But here's the rider that I got. It runs, it drives, it cuts. I can see through the mess here. I can see that the deck is in pretty good shape. But let me show you. This is not going to be a repair video, but I'll show you what I know that I'm going to have to do to it, and I'll explain what I have to do to it before I list it. And by the way, the red one that I showed you in the picture, it took me just one morning to get it ready. So not a lot of time involved with that. Just a crap ton of grass down here. A bunch of pine straw. It was sitting outside. He put the new one in the shed. Hopefully to take a little bit better care of it. Drag link, or the bar that connects the drag links, just needs to be redone because it's got the toe out effect to it. It's just incredibly dirty. Seat's not ripped, it's just kind of coming up off of the backing a little bit. That's very typical. The steering wheel cover, I just need to just kind of reseat. That's not a big deal. Like I said, starts, runs, drives. Tires need a little ATF in them. Battery is good. Engine, air filter look decent. It'll need an oil change and an oil filter. Maintenance items, and just like I said, a huge cleaning. When I clean this up, fix the drag links, fix the deck, I'll show you the deck issue. Again, I will do a separate video on this. So this right here is the deck. It is bent down. However, all I need to do is just get it off, take a big old sledgehammer and just pound it back, and it'll go right back into place. It needs one of those linkages, which they just did zip ties for at the time. I have one of those arms here at home, so that's not a big deal either. This isn't a big deal. You just cut it off right here at the end of the 42, which is what a lot of people do anyways. And you have a little bit of extra blowing for the discharge, and it still protects you. Like I said, I don't see any holes in the deck. I will have to see whenever I get all this grass off of it. It's a 6-speed, 2005 model. I see this. I know that if I clean it up, it is at least a $550 mower, right? So you got to think, $550 plus $450. We've turned a $100 mower into, you know, $900 basically. And then I have the push mower on top of that, which is the one here in the middle. We'll get that one out. That one should be an easy fix. I think it's just got a little bit of water in the fuel, or it just needs simply waking up from the winter, one of the two. Murray push mower, I've got a bag here for it. I'll add a bag to it. It'll be anywhere between $80 and $100. So, and then if we get a trade deal off of this, then we just keep compounding. So you see where I'm going here? I just want to share with you kind of a couple of tricks of the trade that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, separate videos. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, do everything I need to it. We'll list it. We'll see what we get for it. And I'll show you how you can compound your money by just taking trade-ins and being generous in some aspects. All right, y'all. So I cleaned the Craftsman up, but I want to say this is like 6 p.m. roughly, and I got home a little after 3 with that Murray that y'all saw, the push mower, right? So there was a couple people that came to buy a different push mower, and the Murray was nicer, and so I just put that up there and said $120, or I said $125. The other one they were looking to buy was $100, but that Murray was definitely a little bit nicer than the other one. And they were like, okay. So within 3 hours, I have sold that Murray for $120 on top of the $450 that I got for the LT3000 and the Bolins. I guess you could say I valued that Murray at about $30 when I originally got it. I did add a bag to it that I had here, and so you could say that I made $90-ish on the Murray push mower. The Bolin's push mower came in a lot of 6 or 7 for like $70. So let's just call it $10 that I had it, $15 that I had in that. So 15, I sell it for 70. I made $55 on that push mower, and then I have $30 into the Murray and sell it for $120. So 90 and 55. So $145 off of 2 push mowers. All because I got a trade. Made $90 just off of a trade in 3 hours. It's great. Never happens, but I just wanted to tell you the trade stories that I get. This, we'll see what we end up getting for. Again, like I said, I'm about $300 in the good on it. So already. So whatever we make pretty much is all profit, because I don't think I'm going to have to spend hardly anything on this. So let's see what happens to this, and we'll do a final crunching of the numbers. Or if I get a trade on this, then we'll continue the video on. We'll just have to see. Hope y'all are enjoying this though. Alright y'all, so I got the Craftsman here, and should be leaving today. I do have a little bit of a drive, but I'm going to trade 3 mowers, or trade this and get 3 riders. One of them's going to be a Poland XT. One of them's, I think, a late 80s Cub Cadet. It is an MTD Cub Cadet still, though. And the other is a Murray rear engine rider. I'm going to trade this one for all 3 of those. All 3 of them, he says, run and cut and have just minor issues. I think the Murray just needs a battery. So the trade deal continues. So no money exchanged here, but I get 3 lawnmowers. So I'm thinking that the Poland that I'm going to get is $500 mower. The Murray may be a $250 mower, and the Cub Cadet's probably going to be $300 or so. So you have to think, that's, if I sold this outright, it'd be between $550 and $600. I'm hoping to get, for the 3 mowers that I'm going to trade, about $1,000 or so out of those 3 if I sold them independently. So we'll see what happens, but I'll show you those 3 once I trade this one off here. All right, y'all. So this is, I guess I can say I successfully traded here this that LT2000. Here's that XT Poland. It runs and cuts. It's just got, you know, stuff on the deck and whatnot. The deck looks solid. The blades are permanently engaged for right now because the cable is bad on it, and a couple of other things. Just with the deck though, I got a seat that I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with. But either those are, that's okay, because once I fix this, I'll get probably $500 for it. And it's really going to be a good lawnmower. So that pretty much pays for the Craftsman or LT2000. I may maybe $50 to $100 less, but however, I have 2 more mowers to boot that will supplement for that, and then some. So I have the Murray here. This is a rear engine rider. I heard it run. I think I might have to do a little bit of a valve grind or something on it. But it's got a 10 horse Tecumseh in it. The Poland's got a 16.5 Briggs. So we've got a 10 horsepower Tecumseh on this. The batteries are bad in all of them, so at the very least I'll have to charge the batteries. I might have to put a solenoid in 1 or 2 of them. But like I said, they do run. It's like Formula 10 Tecumseh. Like I said, it sounds like it needs a little bit of a valve grind or something along those lines. I'm not sure. It could just be he flooded it whenever he tried to crank it earlier whenever I was there. But it runs, the blades will engage. And then this is a cool one. It says, this is a 1320 Cub Cadet Hydro. It's got a 12.5 horsepower Kohler engine on it. I can kind of pull it up. CV12.5S. I don't know what year this mower was made, but it looks to be in pretty good shape cosmetically. I think it's missing like a fender or something. I'm not sure though. Looks like it's missing some sort of fender cover or something along those lines. The Hydro Trans, I was told, works, but if you start pulling a heel, it'll lose steam, so it could just be We're hoping that it's just a belt that's causing that. The deck I see has a bracket that's trying to break. I'll have to take that off and weld it. This side over here, this one cuts properly. You see it got a little bit of a hole right there, and looks like where somebody, oh, a loose bracket right there. So I have to weld that bracket back on and kind of fix that hole. A little bit of deck welding, nothing crazy though. As you can see, this is an MTD deck, so hope it's not too bad to get off. But that should be the only thing I have to do with this, is a little bit of deck work and then maybe a drive belt. Hopefully the drive belt on this isn't too complex. It does have some cracks in it, so I think I can take that panel off and access most of it. It doesn't look terrible compared to what a lot of MTD products do. This looks like an early MTD Cub Cadet, so it's probably still built pretty decently. We will have to see. But I think for the value of the other mower, which would be about $550 to $600, the Poland will definitely get me all but about $100 of that, and these two right here will definitely put me in the good. So if they weren't all running and cutting, I wouldn't have touched them. But since they ran and cut, then I figured that they were worth what he was asking for it. So let's see what we end up getting for all of these. Remember, I'm still a few $100 in the good as it is from selling that red one and getting that gray one. So whatever we get out of these three will be the profit from that. Alright guys, Cub Cadet finished. Long story short, I had to do a little bit of deck work to it just to cover a hole up, and it could use some blades. I'm going to sell it as is. Oil was clean, battery was good, air filter's good, tires are good. Hydrostatic transmission is a little weak on the hills, but for somebody that has a level yard is going to enjoy this lawnmower. I'm going to list it for $300. It'll sell for no less than $250, which will put me $250 in the good for that trade, which leaves me the Murray and the Poland XT here. Those two, we'll see what I can get for those, but again, probably $450 to $500 for that, $200 to $250 for this, and another $250 for that. So I took what was probably a $600 mower, let's just say on the low end, $450, $650, $750, $850, $900. We'll see if we get any trades off of this. But Cub Cadet's finished. I'm going to list it and get it out of here. Okay guys, the Murray is done. Still have the Cub. That's okay. It's only like 2 days difference in filming here. This, like I said, chronologically, going to take a little while to see what pans out with these trades. Murray is good. I had to clean the contacts of the ignition switch. I had to take the entire back fender off. And I put a starter solenoid on it. The other one worked, but I was still trying to troubleshoot ignition issues, which ended up being contacts on the switch, like the connection between the switch and the wiring harness. That got fixed. Had to put a deck pulley on it. They make plastic deck pulleys, crazy, right, for these Murrays. It didn't burn up the belt, thankfully. And I had to do a valve grind on the exhaust valve. That was the big thing. It was running, but it didn't have any power. And as soon as you cut the blades on, it cut out because the compression was too low to run it. It's running strong now. Got it listed for $250. We'll see what it sells for. We'll see what the Cub sells for as well. Let's see what we can get sold first. All right, y'all. So, as an update, all three of those mowers that I got on that trade are gone. The Murray rear engine rider sold for $250, very quickly, I might add. The second one, the Cub Cadet, sold second. And I listed it for $325, and it's set probably for about a week, and which is uncharacteristic in the spring sprint time. Listed it as needs blades, hydro trans is a little weak on the hills. I figured if everything was in good working order, it was probably a $400 lawnmower. I figured that, you know, it was perfectly usable as is, cut fine. It just didn't have any lift because the lift of the blades was gone. And the hydro trans, if you have a relatively flat yard, you're never going to notice anything. So I put that all in the listing. Had a couple of small inquiries, but I had one inquiry. It said, would you be able to deliver to basically the town that's just north of me, which is like 8 miles, for an extra $100? So I was like, sure. They came, looked at it, liked the mower, gave me $420. They were like, we don't have a 5. I'm like, I don't care, that's fine. So I got $100 to deliver that thing less than 10 miles, 10 minutes up the road. So I got $420 for that, plus $250, which would be what, $670. I valued the Craftsman that I took over to the guy at like $600. So I got $670 out of the 2 cheaper mowers, and I did account for transport costs, which was $10, and then on the Poland I accounted for the transport cost to go get the 3 riding mowers, which was about $20. So I got about $30 in transport. The Poland I valued probably at about $450, give or take. That was an estimate because I have another trade, which I'm going to show you in just a second. So I am about $155 in the good on that. So far, I'll break everything down at the end of this. I've got a sheet that I'm keeping up, and I'll show you this sheet. So far, I'm like $900 and some in the good, and I'm sitting on the trade, which is about $500 lawnmower. So I'm standing to make close to $1,500 off of this, off of these shenanigans, so to speak. Where originally, if I had sold the original LT3000 for the price that I was going to sell it for, at $625, I would have only made $510. So far, I'm $400 and some in the good, and I have another mower to sell. So let's go check it out. It's been a little rainy today, so it's in the lean-to. But I pretty much told the guy, I said, bring me this one, and you take the Poland. Because all I got to do is put a deck belt on it. It's one that I sold to him last year, and I'm very familiar with the mower. It's pretty much been in my family ever since it was new back in 1995. So it's just this. I didn't need it anymore since I got my Husqvarna back there, so I sold it. Craftsman 42-inch cut is the older model, with this type of hood and the mechanical steering. It's got the 42-inch deck. It's had a little bit of deck repair done to it, but nothing crazy. He said that it kept jumping the deck belt. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think he was just trying to cut grass that was too thick. Had an auto parts store belt on it, and it kept rolling around the pulleys because I looked at it I looked at it once for him before he decided to trade me. So I just got to put a deck belt on this thing and get it gone. I figure that the mower is at least worth $450. I'll probably list it for $500 since it's got the deck patch and stuff on it. Put a new deck belt on it, which is $10, so that's really, you know, negligible cost. Plus, it was an easy sell and an easy trade, so why not, you know? I know this mower in and out. I'm ready to resell it and get it gone, and you know, make the rest of the money. Steering's a little loose on it, but that's pretty typical of a Craftsman of this vintage, so to speak. It has tubes in all the tires already. I just need to air them back up because they've lost air over the winter. And like I said, just put a deck belt on it, list it, and get this thing out of here. Deck's aligned great. Pulleys look great. Like I said, he just I think was trying to cut grass that was a little bit too thick with a belt that was not quite right. Because the V on that auto parts belt is not quite, or is a little bit more pointed than the regular belt. But anyways, y'all see I've got other stuff here. I'm working on hopefully a part 2 trade deal of this, which involves that Toro and that Murray back there. We shall see what we end up with, but for now, I'll put a deck belt on that mower, and if we end up selling that mower and not getting a trade, we'll wrap this video up. But here's so far. We started out with one lawnmower, traded 1 for 1, 1 for 3, and then out of those 3 we've gotten 1 more. So out of 1 lawnmower we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional riding mowers from that 1 original lawnmower that I picked up for $100 and put a deck on. So let's see what pans out with this other Craftsman, and we shall see if we continue this or not, or if we get to wrap this up. Alright y'all, so here's what I guess traded back the Poland for. This is actually my grandpa's old mower. He upgraded a few years ago. I got it from him and I just cut with it for a little while, and obviously upgraded to my 48-inch Husqvarna. Didn't need this any longer, so sold it. Got to put the wrong deck belt on it. There's nothing wrong with this lawnmower. Cut the grass, put a new deck belt on it, cut the grass with it. Great. Runs excellent, drives excellent, does all the good stuff. So I got it listed for $550. Let's see if it'll sell. Pretty clean. I didn't even wash it. Like I said, listed for $550. Let's see if it will sell. Probably for $500. I'm probably my bottom dollar on it. And we'll see if we get a trade on this. If not, then that means our series has ended, and I will give you all a summary. If we do, then we will continue it. Well, okay, y'all. The trades continue. How about that? Sold the Craftsman. I got this plus $375, which I thought was pretty good. Craftsman, all it needed was that deck belt. Mowed the grass with it, did great. I knew it would. So this is, goodness gracious, y'all. What is this in this series? I started with the red Craftsman. That was number 1, the LT 3000. Then I got the LT 2000. Then I got the Murray Range and Rider, Poland XT, Cub Cadet 1320. Traded the Poland back for that gray Craftsman that y'all just saw. So this is mower number 7 in the trade series. Really cool. Really, really cool. This one has an electrical issue. I'll show you. It is tied to the stator wire. And he said he cranked it up and the wire started smoking. My guess is this is all it is. So I'm going to repair that wire, see if I can repair that connector there, and hopefully have a good mower here. Said he couldn't get it to start after this happened, so this will be my guess. I don't see any bad wires at the ignition switch or anything, so I'm hoping that's all it needs. 16.5 horsepower Briggs opposed twin, and 42-inch deck with a mulch kit. So pretty stout mower, half tank of gas still, hydrostatic transmission. So seat's in excellent shape. This is it's an MTD, but it's like one of the upgraded versions. What do they call it? LT 1442. So I wonder if this has got a transplanted engine on it, because I bet it had a 14 originally. Now it's got a 16.5 opposed twin Briggs. Don't know. See if we can get this one going. Obviously, I'm not going to show on this video since this is about the trades. But if I can get it going, I'll tell you. We'll get it we'll get it sold, and see if we get any trade on it. This is kind of fun, y'all. Mower number 7 in the lot here. All right, y'all. Here's the completed LT 1442. Have somebody coming to look at it. I have it listed for $425. We'll see what we end up getting. I don't think I have any trade offer going, so this will end the trade series. We shall see what I end up getting final price for this. Like I said, I'm in it for about, what I do, give the guy $125 off of the other ride mower, pretty much. $175. So I mean, so if I get $400 for this, I made like $225. All I had to do to it, essentially clean it up. Had to do a little bit of working on the ignition switch because the contacts were kind of rough. Put a starter solenoid in it. Rewired the wiring for the stator because the connector was bad on it. So it's starting charging. Also had to put a new shutoff switch on it. The other one was broken. The fuel line's only about 4 years old, so it's doing fine. Like I said, hydrostatic transmission. I had to put a drive belt on it as well. The drive belt was having chunks missing out of it, so new drive belt on it also. Driving great, cuts good, runs fine, surges a little bit, but it's got one of them 4-screw Nicky carburetors on it, so that's gonna, take a little bit of working to get going. Running perfectly. I did have to speed up the governor a little bit because it was running a little bit on the slow side, which all it is taking that screw right there and screwing it in a little bit. Got it running a little faster. So anyways, thank y'all. Should be thank y'all for watching. We still got to finish this video, don't we? Should end this video, and I'll show you how much more I was able to make off of this by just trading. It's gonna be fun to have the numbers up, I think. All right, y'all. That one sold for $425. Somebody came from almost an hour and a half away to pick that thing up. I thought it was a little bit of a stretch to sell it, put that thing up for $425, but man, sold within like 4 hours of me posting it. So that means we can end this video. We started out with one riding mower, and we turned it into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We turned it into 7. So let's backtrack. Originally, I wasn't even looking for this lawnmower, but a guy who was a neighbor from somebody who bought one from me last year, which was the Husqvarna that I swapped the Kohler to the Briggs Intech. The neighbor to that guy called me. He was 84 years old, and he said, I originally was looking for a deck for his mower, and I ended up telling him I'd buy it for $100 if he couldn't find a deck and no longer wanted it. So that's what ended up happening. Went and picked it up for $100. I got a couple of other things in addition to that aren't a part of this video. Put a deck on the LT 3000 and a couple of other maintenance items. Nothing really. The mower didn't hardly even need any maintenance because he had taken care of it. So the transport to go pick them up, I added into the cost, was $15. I bought it for $100. I listed it for $625. I say whenever I sell something and get a trade, I always say that I sell it for full price and then put the price that I take off of the deal for trade. So I sell it for $625. I've made $510. Now, through all the other trades, I'll go through them here in just a second. That $510 would be the number that I would have made off of that one lawnmower, and if I had not gotten a trade. So, I sell the LT3000, and really quickly, I sold the same guy, and I'm including it in there, a Boland's big wheel push mower. I bought it for $15, sold it for $70, made what, $55 off of it, and then I gave him $30 credit on the Murray that he traded me, sold it for $120, made $90, which means that I made $145 off of the push mowers when I originally would have only made $55. That's done. Back to the riders. So I traded the LT3000 for an LT2000 that was gray. I valued that mower, or I gave him $220 off that mower for a trade. I pretty much had to put a deck arm on it, clean it up. I think I had to put a fuel filter in it, or just fuel lines. So stuff I had here, only a couple dollars in parts really. Sold it for $600. So I've made $380 off of that. The LT2000 was the one that I got the 3 trades on: the Murray rear engine rider, the Cub Cadet, and the Poland. He valued these mowers at about $600, and he had them already split up for me. The Murray rear engine rider $150, the Cub Cadet $200, and the Poland $250. I added the transport cost of the Poland, or in the Poland price, to go get them, which was about $20 because they were a little ways away. So for the Murray rear engine rider, I really didn't have, I just had a little bit of time in it. I didn't have any parts in it. I sold it for $250. Well, I had a pulley on it, which is maybe about $7-8, but I putting it for another mower. So I made $100 on the Murray. The Cub Cadet, I had $200 in. Didn't have to do anything to it really. Adjust the transmission a little bit. Sold it. That was the one I got $100 to deliver it 10 minutes up the road. So I factored the $10 of that cost in. And so that means I sold the mower for $420. Neither of those I got trades on. I made $210 off the Cub Cadet. The Poland, $250. The transport cost to go get it was in that. And then I had about $25 worth of parts in it. Mostly the deck spring and the, what else was it? The deck cable and the return spring. There was probably something else I had to put on it. Sold it for $450, made $155 off of that. This was the guy that bought one from me last year. I got that gray Craftsman back that I sold him. I just said, bring this one to me, I'll give you this one. Worked out fine. Put a deck belt on that one, so $10. Sold it for $550, made $90 off of it. Got the LT 1442, had to do the stator wire and starter solenoid, both of which I had here, so no cost associated with that, except for the deck belt, or the drive belt, which was $20. So $425 is what I ended up selling that for. So I made $230 off of that because I valued I gave $175 off of that gray Craftsman for the LT 1442. So I essentially made $250 off of or $230 after the deck belt, which brings the total to $1,675. So I know it's a lot of information in this video, but the purpose of this video, I wanted to show you that if you do this small engine stuff, man, offer some trades. Like, people love giving you their non-working trade. Sometimes they give them to you. Sometimes you can factor it and make them think you have a little bit better of a deal. Because what I usually do is list them probably about $50 to $100 over what I really want to get for them. That would be for riding mowers. Usually push mowers are about $20 over what I want to get for them. 10 to 20 depending on the value of the mower. But so the way I look at it, I don't have a lot of money in these, and most of these, almost all of these were really quick turnarounds too. I got really lucky. This was a really good trade lot, and a really good example of how you can take one lawnmower that you would make $500 on and keep trading and fixing and trading and fixing, and it compounds into 7 lawnmowers that you've made nearly $1,700 off of. So I hope this video helps you out, and if you have any questions as to my selling tactics and how I decide to trade and transport and stuff like that, feel free to reach out. I'm on Instagram. You can always direct message me there, and also comment on this YouTube video right here. So I hope y'all enjoyed this ride. This was really fun. I really had a vision for this video whenever I made it, saying we might be able to make something good out of this. And I think we did. So again, I just wanted to show you the value of trades. If you're offered a trade, it doesn't hurt to be generous, because you have to think of it in terms of, if you take $100 off of the asking price and you get a mower, it's kind of like the same as somebody offering you $100 less and you accepting their offer. So it's like you almost get the lawnmower for free. That's kind of the way I look at it. But thank y'all again. I hope to have another example. I have another one in the works, although the 2 that I traded for were a little bit rougher. So it's going to be a little while before that comes, if anything even materializes from that. Or I could potentially get the ball rolling on another, some more trade deals coming up. But I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I will catch y'all on the next video. See you then.